Welcome to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX Podcast Network, where the conversation never ends. I'm reminding you that education is in my DNA. Recently, there was an article in Education Week, which is a magazine or a journal, I should say, professional journal for educators. And one of the things that was talked about in that article was that student behavior in the classroom is not improving, unfortunately. And parents are being challenged by teachers to do more to improve their child's behavior. I don't know about you, parents, but when I saw and read that 64% of teachers, well over half, are reporting that the behavior has gotten worse um, this past year, 2026, uh, is what year I'm talking to you in. But understand that that makes a major impact. It will impact everybody that's in the classroom. Yes, that one student or those two students may be misbehaving, but it does impact where and how students are learning. And so 64%, that's a lot. Their number one, the teacher's number one solution, they're saying, is for classes to be smaller. Unfortunately, that solution may not happen as soon as we would like. But these same teachers have said that they would love for parents to become better involved and helping them to monitor their child's behavior. I know there is this TV show called um, Abbott Elementary, and in that show, it mocks a lot of things related to classrooms and teachers and all of that. But one of the biggest things I realize is we as parents, we do make an impact. I will never ever forget that years ago in one of my daughter's second grade classroom, there was this one child, and we're talking now a few years ago because this child is in her 40s. This one child, female student, was running around the classroom, and the class was large. The girls, my daughter's father, at the time husband, was in the classroom, and the teacher could not get this student to stop running around and to sit down in the classroom. There was some type of special occasion going on within the classroom. Literally, my husband chased her down, grabbed her, in a football hold, and literally brought her to a chair and told her to sit down. This child did nothing, said nothing from that point forward. The teacher was like, "Thank you so much for taking care of this," because this teacher, she was a young teacher, but she literally was distraught. She didn't know what to do. But stepped right in and took care of the matter. So when our children see that we are engaged and we are concerned about what happens in the classroom, they will behave better. And one of the things that is so important, especially in elementary and middle school, because it will impact their going on to high school, parents basically do want to know what can they do to help with improving their child's behavior within the classroom. Screen time, many students, they have a lot of screen time and don't want to actually listen to a person talking. And we're being asked, parents, grandparents, those adults that are in the lives of our children, they're asked to kind of reduce, we're being asked to reduce our child's screen time. So, and I take a side because I'm quite sure you're aware of, maybe not in your family, but with other families, friends, um, where this may be a problem. So, to help to prevent behaviors that are not good, we want good behavior. Here's a couple of tips I'd like to share with you that can help to eliminate or reduce your child's misbehavior in the classroom. And please feel free to share them with others. Ask the teacher this question: when do these behaviors happen? When do these misbehaviors happen? Because part of that could be an implication of a few things. If it's in the morning, maybe your child is hungry or the child is hungry. If it's late in the afternoon, they may be tired and literally don't have the energy to become engaged and may do any and everything possible to distract from what's going on. So, asking the teacher, number one. Number two, talk to your child. Ask him or her what is going on in terms of their emotions. Are they uncomfortable? Is there something that's being said that is frustrating to them? Or there's a word that's being said, or something that is being done, not just by the teacher, but maybe by someone in the classroom? I remember once there was a situation in one of my daughter's classrooms, and there was a young boy who was yanking and pulling on ponytails, and never was caught until I literally had to bring it to the teacher's attention after my daughter told me about her incident. And as a result, the teacher was able to handle and take care of the matter. The third thing, and some people may say, "What?" Well, check with your doctor. Talk to your child's pediatrician. There may be some things that are going on with their health, or vision, hearing, different things that may be going on that may need to be tested, and that may be causing the misbehavior, especially when a child can't see what's on the board or is having a hard time hearing and doesn't want to tell the teacher, and then the whole class knows that they can't hear well, and it could be an embarrassing moment, especially in middle school. So, the fourth thing I would say is, make sure there's not a learning disability going on. In other words, ensure that your child has nothing that is a barrier to their learning. And this is something many times is not discovered until maybe fourth or fifth grade. There may be a challenge, and as a result, the supportive services can be offered to your child. Learning disabilities does not mean you can't learn. Learning disabilities means there's another way in which you learn, and that support is required by law. The other thing that may be happening is your child may be physically, I talked about health in one point, but there may be a physical challenge that's going on. The chair's not comfortable. The seat's not in a place where they feel the heat, especially if the classroom tends to be cold. Um, there may be some physical things going on with your child with their hands holding the pencil, let's say. And so you want to make sure that there are no physical barriers going on with them. If your child does have accommodations, you have to ensure, this is my last point or strategy, you have to ensure that they're getting the supportive services they are required to have. That IEP is a document that is a contract that says what's going to happen to support your son or daughter. And so, if that teacher is not following through with those supportive services, uh, like the taking the test outside of the classroom, having the test read to them, All kinds of different supports are supposed to be given. You want to make sure that's not what's causing the misbehavior as well. So, what can I say? All kinds of factors can be going on: emotional, mental, physical with your child. Dig deep, ask questions, get answers because he or she deserves that. You have been listening to Parenting Tips with Dr. Glow on the WDKX Podcast Network. Question: is your child misbehaving, and are you investigating to see why?